Hi there, this is going to be our AA melter instructional video on how to run all our new machines. You may have gotten this video from our QR codes, which go directly to our website, or you may have just gone to our website. One of the important factors I want to mention before we even start is do not run these machines unless they have material in them. You can do severe damage to the tubs. And this video is on an A210 model, but all our machines are pretty much loaded in the same way. So first of all, you want to do all your daily checks. You might need a few wrenches, a 3/4 inch wrench, 9/16, half inch, 7/16 wrench, maybe an adjustable, just to check all your nuts and bolts. These bolts here can be checked daily, but they don't have to be too tight, just snug. But I would definitely have a look at your motor mount bolts, which are 3/4 inch bolts. Just a visual look for one, but you can also check them for tightness. They're quite important. Then you've got bolts up here, same thing, 3/4 inch bolts on your gear reducer that you might want to check. A real good one to check are these taper lock bushing bolts right here. There's one here on this machine, and there's one on the agitator arm down in here. We'll show you. But these bolts right here, there's 3 of them. They're 1/2 inch bolts. You want to make sure these are tight, otherwise you can cause a lot of damage. There's also in here 4 grease nipples on this machine. 2 are here, one on the link arm here, another one on the link arm here, and then at either end of the machine on the pillow block bearings there's grease nipples, this one and that end, which should be greased every couple of weeks or so, I would guess. But also check these bolts on the pillow block bearings. Make sure your material tap valve is not open but closed before you fire it up, and make sure it's tight. This is our manual thermometer located at the rear of the machine beside the material tap valve. Please note the outside numbers are Fahrenheit and the inside are Celsius. You do not want to look at the inside temperatures as 200 degrees Celsius is around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Could run you into a lot of trouble. You probably want to check your oil daily too. It's right here, very simple. There's a dipstick on there. Just make sure she's halfway up the stick. The engine shouldn't start when it's low on oil, but you never know. If your engine doesn't start, it might be out of oil. It has a safety on it. You might also check, make sure your belt's in decent shape. It's right here. More bolts you can check. Here's your other grease nipple on the other pillow block bearing. Some more bolts you can check. Before we fire up the machine, we're going to make sure our exhaust is open, which we're going to do in a couple of minutes here. We like to keep the burners about 1 inch away from the fire tubes, but that can be adjusted either way, but that's where we suggest you keep them. Make sure your ball valves are turned off before you start it up. Okay, now we're going to show you how we load a brand new machine. Here's one block. They're all different sizes from different manufacturers, but this one here is on a 40-pound block, and we try and make sure the agitator is in the center, but it's not that important, but this one is right now in the center. Now I'm going to throw this down on the tub. You want to get that as close to the tub as you can. We've also cut a couple blocks in half, because then you can take this and get it down even further in on the tub, in between the agitator arms right there, like that. And then you can put another one over on the other side. Okay, now we've got a few pieces of material in that's on the tub as best as we can. We can actually start the engine and get the agitator going before we actually fire up the machine. So, first you want to make sure that this lever is always disengaged, which is up and not down, especially when there's material in the machine. So I'm going to start the motor, on-off switch right here, choke is on there. Now if you come over here, you'll see that the agitator will actually move even when it's disengaged until it's got loaded up or solid. Okay, now we're going to get ready to start up the machine with the burners. So I'll shut the lid, which you can or cannot do, whatever you prefer, but shutting the lid is always a good idea. We've got 2 liquid draw propane tanks here. What we recommend, you can use liquid or vapor, but we send them out with liquid draw connectors on these regulators. If you want to use vapor, you'll have to change these connectors. You can always tell liquid by it's a male connector coming off the tank, and our connectors are female. That's a liquid draw. They work better than vapor. Anyway, now we're going to turn the tanks on. We're going to make sure our ball valves are shut over here, which they are. We're going to turn on our tanks. So we're going to turn these regulators down as low as we can, which you'll have to kind of figure out for yourselves, but I got that on pretty low right now. Then I recommend using some sort of a lighting device to stay away from the burners themselves. So I got a little torch so I don't have to get too close to these burners. Now I'll go to the far burner here. I'll make sure there's no propane in those tubes. It could be dangerous. I'll just put my little torch there, standing away. No propane in there, that's good. Now I'll put the torch by the orifice here and slowly open it up. Okay, we don't quite have enough propane there, so I'll turn it up just a little bit over here, making sure that's open. Now we're going to warm the tube up just like that at a low idle. Let's try this one here. There we go. She'll look nice and low right now. I would do that for 5 minutes or so, just to warm up the tubes a little. It'll accept the flame a little bit better. Okay, so now we've waited about 5 minutes, so we're going to turn them up a little. So I like to run them with the ball valves wide open, adjust them here. Some guys do it opposite. They will have this wide open and the ball valves closed, but this is what I recommend. Now we're going to turn this up until you get a nice blue flame over here. Now you can also order these regulators with pressure gauges on them if you want. Most guys break them right away. I think that's why they don't bother, but we do run these almost, there's a double nut here, we run them almost all the way down, but not quite. Anywhere between 15 and 22 pounds is a good pressure. You don't want to overrun these things. You just end up losing heat rather than gaining it.